honor for me to open actually this second half 2020 ISSIP Board of Directors call. So once again, welcome everybody who is listening to us and who's following us. With, as every time, quite full meeting agenda. These are the points we are have on the agenda today. I'm opening this meeting, and this will be followed by the ISSIP Awards and Recognitions from my side. We have a presentation on the ISSIP NSF funded project by ISSIP. We have a report on the European Commission e-skills research project ISSIP is heavily involved in. We have some news or some thoughts about the working group about COVID-19 impact and implications, which is a quite important, let's say, aspect we are discussing in our board nowadays. We are reporting on the Virtual Discovery Summit and other events, and we are reporting on our publications. We have some updates about SIG, our special interest groups. Of course, volunteers are very important for ISSIP to work and to function, and they will be recognized by ISSIP. There are some operational aspects, and of course, we will have time for questions and for everybody to raise questions to the Board of Directors. So let's start with the ISSIP 2020 Excellence in Service Innovation Award winners. It's a great achievement for ISSIP. It's a great honor for ISSIP to present the awardees and the winners actually. Service Excellence in Service Innovation Awards this year. I will not have the chance to really mention every person involved, but before I do anything, once again, our outstanding thanks to everybody who has contributed. One team was driven by IBM. It was about AI operations, operationalize AI for companies around the world. So it's about, let's say, scaling AI. And this team was, let's say, driven or led by Rama Akirayu. The second team was actually driven by Cisco for excellence in service with the theme of the Sustainable Impact Program and Open Conversation. This team was led by Carol Gridley. And the third winner was or is a team by Mozilla about Mozilla Common Voice, allowing innovation through open voice data. The team was driven by Megan Branson. We have 4 other distinguished recognition awards. Once again, a team by Cisco they are awarded for the work related to the power of context, prioritizing and driving action with benchmarking. The team was driven by John Garrett. The second team, again, by Cisco Systems in collaboration with Oregon State University for their achievements in shaving data center power demand peaks through energy storage and workload shifting control. The team was driven by Mahir Dabak, sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly, and two other teams. One case by Braven for an innovative education model that helps underrepresented students find a meaningful career. The team was driven by Andrea Schwarz-Bohn, or the work was done by Andrea Schwarz-Bohn. And the last one by Zybar IP for its innovative approach to help companies create value from their, and I cannot read it anymore, sorry, value from their, can someone help me here with the last line?
To create value from their intellectual property.
On their intellectual property rights, and so this team was led by Ofer Hermani. So once again, thank you to everybody who has contributed and really put lots of effort in this outstanding work. It's an important initiative for ISSIP. It's an important initiative for the ISSIP mission to really bring service innovation into our society and in particular into our economy. Thank you once again. So. if we can shift to the next slide. So everybody will, every team will be recognized and is visible on our webpage, and we do our best to post these recognitions and awards. So information about the teams and the work are available at the ISSIP or over the ISSIP website. I think it's important for everybody to know this, that really the knowledge created and the teams are accessible to the public.
Yeah. Gerhard, if I may add, so every individual that was listed in previous slide will get a certificate if they click on their their name on the ISSIP website. They see this certificate, and soon everybody will get a badge like this on the right to post on their LinkedIn and social media. We're still working on the badges that are ready for social media, but that will be coming soon. And also check out the press release that went out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gerhard.
Oh, thank you, Yassi, very much. Thank you very much. No problem. So, and that's the right place to announce the next year award, or the next award on the next slide. So once again, it's a great chance really for teams to apply. The deadline for submission is this year in December 2020. I don't see the actual date. Deadline for submissions, December.
Oh, December 31st, sorry.
Okay.
Let's say December 31st, 2020.
So it's the last day of the year and the last chance to submit work to us and to ISSIP. I think everybody has seen that we are looking for a broad variety of innovative spirit and ideas. We are not restricted in the themes, but of course we are looking for those work which is relevant for companies and for society, has an impact. So we can just encourage everybody to send an application to us.
Yeah, and the major themes are contribution to service innovation with contribution to society, to business, and to innovation. These are the three categories we have covered in the previous years. And that doesn't mean that we'll limit to these categories going forward, but just to think about it in those contexts.
Yes, thank you, Yassi, once again. And I think we can skip to the next slide. And one important aspect, of course, is our newsletter, which really informs the whole community of ISSIP about what's going on. And that's the right place really to thank the still existing editorial team for their outstanding contributions to ISSIP and to advancing the field. Many thanks to Salvatore and Michelle for their great work they have done for the last 2 years and really editing our newsletter and really doing all the interviews, really getting all the work together, really doing this cumbersome work to, let's say, edit the newsletter. It's lots of work, it's lots of detailed work, and it's a great contribution to ISSIP really to make this happen and to bring the community, hold the community together. So that's the right place really to say thank you for a great job these two persons have done, and it's the opportunity really to call for new volunteers which are willing to support ISSIP in editing the newsletter for the next years, or next year at least. It always depends, of course, on the fascination about ISSIP. And please let us know if you're interested in really taking the role to be an important voice to our community. So that's from my side. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gerhard. And just to add to this, Salvador and Michelle are passing the baton, as Gerhard said, and we do have a call for nomination out. you know, this could be, if for those of you who have students, think about if you have a student that's enthusiastic about service innovation, this is a great opportunity to connect to the service innovation community and also to advance the field. So let Gerhard and I know if you have any nominees. And oh, by the way, Salvador and Michelle will soon get an ISSIP plaque, which a mock-up is shown here. Okay. All right, the next one is an update on a project ISSIP has been involved in with the National Science Foundation. Last year, we were asked to do a research that reflects an industry perspective on STEM education for the future, to look to see what industry sees for trends in the future, then new jobs of the future, and then the skills that are required for those jobs. I'm really thankful to many ISSIP members actually contributed to this project, but the co-PIs with me, Professor Lou Frond, Professor Stephen Kwan, and Professor Martha Russell. Lou and Steve from San Jose State, Professor Emeritus, and Martha from Stanford collaborated with me on this. The award size was $87K, and the scope was really to get a panel of experts together, run a survey, do a workshop, and then provide a report. And we actually have gathered an expert panel on future work that is going to really carry other work that we are involved in future work. We did do a quick survey of 75 experts and held a workshop last year. Several of you were participating and spoke in that workshop. And finally, we submitted the final report a couple of weeks ago, and haven't heard back from NSF because they're busy with next year's submittals. And then next for ISSIP, we're actually, as we speak, working on a couple of other proposals to NSF. And with regard to this project, the next step is to turn the report, because the report is very much structured in the way NSF wants it. But for wider population use of the ISSIP community, we're planning to turn that into a Business Expert Press book. Another big project that we've been involved with over the last year has been a project through Empirica, a company that's based in Frankfurt, Germany, work with the European Commission. It's on e-skills for that are basically high-tech skills for industry, fostering new services and jobs creation. Basically, the program director in the European Commission sees a real great opportunity for service science as a framework for creating new jobs and new skills. And so they've been working with the ISSIP community and PwC since last July. And many of you and many of other ISSIP members are involved in this. And if you're curious about this and don't know anything about it, but curious and would like to learn more, please contact me. It is a 2-year project. The total budget is 62 euros, and ISSIP's involvement is basically connecting the team to the greater service science community. We are collaborating with Empirica on workshops both in Europe and in US. In fact, when we first started, location mattered, but with COVID-19, it really is, we foresee that everything will be virtual, at least planning for virtual, and if we get surprised where we could do these workshops physically, we'll replan. But we have already had one of these workshops. We'll have another one coming in September. And ISSIP is helping the project basically to coordinate 2 workshops, even if it is virtual, with a focus on Europe through Professor Gerhard Güdergen, ISSIP president, and Aachen University, and one oriented towards US that ISSIP will coordinate. And then we are also co-authoring final report. There's an interim report right now that several of you have seen, and we're looking for feedback. Always welcome your feedback on those topics. So that's an update on that project. So sometime in May, actually, there's a U.S. politician that says you shouldn't let a crisis go to waste. So in the spirit of that, we thought that the ISSIP community should really look at the long-term impact of COVID-19 on work and learning, since all of you know that this is really supercharging digital transformation. So we've started a working group, and the working group basically so far has been holding a speaker series. And you know, basically you can see the on the link that's posted here. You can see the previous sessions, recorded sessions. And so our interest is really how this is impacting future of work and learning. So far, about 30 people have been participating, engaged in those calls. And they're 30-minute calls every other week. Actually happens every other Wednesday. And we've had 6 of them completed. Our goal is to collect all the content of those calls and really put out a position statement paper at the end of the year. So again, if you'd like to know more about this, send me an email. Happy to chat with you. Next is our Discovery Summit series. Amar, would you like to give us an update on this?
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Yassi. Hello, everyone from Hawaii, virtually. just joking. The Discovery Summit series, the general theme for the summit after discussion is future of work. And as you know, the topic of interest to many companies and individuals right now are addressing issues, requirements when it comes to distance learning and or working from home. mainly basically how to get a secure connection. Security is a top concern. Consistent connection with quality of service is another concern, and many companies are investing heavily actually in this area. It's a very good area, and it will be around even after COVID-19, given how the structure of work has been moved around. So the format, without where we are today, the format would be online. And online you cannot have like one full day summit. You will need to maybe have it in portions. So we decided we probably have portions or duration of a couple of hours formats each, maybe a couple of days, and the days that do not have to be consecutive in that fashion. We will open up all ISSIP members. Seating will be limited to 100 given the online restrictions. And we are targeting the fourth quarter of 2020 in the coming quarter, and announcement will be coming up soon. Back to you, Yassi.
Thank you so much, Omar. Christine, are you on call?
Yes. Hi. Yes. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I had a problem to join you on time because of the link. It didn't work. Anyway, I'm very happy to talk a bit about the recent conference on the human side of service engineering, which is organized or was organized in the frame.
And Christine, I'm sorry, I should have done a proper introduction. The rest of us have been on these calls.
Oh, I see.
You are new, so if you want to take a minute to introduce.
Yeah, I thought you were in a hurry, so I didn't mean.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Christine Leitner. I'm a senior advisor at the Center for Economics and Public Administration, which is based in London and also in Vienna now recently because of Brexit. And I'm focusing on public sector innovation, citizen-centric public service design, and participatory governance. I have a mixed background basically in public administration at different levels, including the European Union, but also at academia. And well, I'm very happy to have joined ISSIP some time ago as an ambassador now. And I've been working in particular also during the last 2 years with a couple of people that are involved in ISSIP quite heavily. One of them is, of course, Tim Sporer in the context of the HSSE conference, and Lou Freud, Clara Bassano, and yeah, well, I think that's about it. I'm happy to join you today. It's my first time, and I'm quite interested in hearing and seeing all the activities. Okay.
Okay, thanks. And would you like to tell us how the conference went? Just
yes, yeah. Okay. The conference actually went really, really well. Thanks also to my great co-chair, Tim. We had 3 days conference, and it was actually full day conference. So fully agree, this is quite exhausting with just a couple of breaks in between. So 3 consecutive days from the 18th to the 20th of July in the context of the Applied Human Factors and Ergonomics Conference. Online conference, quite successful, quite positive feedback. We had 59 people registered for the HSSE track. 44 papers were submitted, and they covered quite a wide area of fields. So very interdisciplinary, from the health sector, education, technology, service science, conceptual papers. We had papers related to sustainability and other areas. So very transdisciplinary, if you will, coverage of topics. In terms of conference attendees, it was a mixed crowd from academia, but also from industry and a couple of policymakers. There were quite a number of ISSIP members involved. In total, we counted, it was 18. And ISSIP, thanks again, sponsored the Best Paper Awards and the keynote speakers for the HSSE track, Victoria Stodden and Don Norman. And maybe you might be interested in the best papers. Yassi, you were also involved in reviewing. Thank you again for helping us. The 6 papers are listed here. I don't want to read out all of them to you, but you might want to have a look. The best paper was from Japan about predicting future accident risks of older drivers in speech data from a voice-based dialogue system, a preliminary result. And you can see that the following deal with service design approaches, with artificial intelligence from a business perspective, with policies in the EU, the Payment Services Directive, and then again, artificial intelligence, more conceptual paper. We could see that this was a key focus in this conference, the topic of artificial intelligence. In any case, if you're interested, all the papers are published in Springer publication, 44 in total, and we're very happy that we had this great response. Thanks again to ISSIP, and thanks also to Tim for co-chairing and for a successful event.
And thank you for being a great ambassador to this conference on behalf of ISSIP, and you and Jim both.
Well, maybe Jim would like to add to something. I forgot to call on my co-chair, which I usually do. It's a bit late, getting late here, Jim, and I don't see you on the screen, so.
Yeah, no worries. I think it was a fantastic conference. Thanks, ISSIP, for sponsoring the keynotes and the best papers. And we've got more to cover, so I'll be brief.
All right, great. Thank you both. All right, next is HICS 54 2021. Our another great ambassador, Dr. Haluk Demirkan, will update us on that. Haluk, please.
Sure. Thank you, Yassi. Thank you, everybody, and welcome everybody for our ISSIP quarterly or mid-year review meeting. And as we have been mentioning for a long time, ISSIP has been a great umbrella organization to bring so many different communities to discuss about service science, service innovation, and some of the new service-oriented technologies. So one of the collaboration we have been doing as ISSIP is with the Hawaiian International Conference on System Sciences. This is actually one of the third largest MIS conferences in the world, and the upcoming conference is scheduled for January 2021, and that will be the 54th of the conference. And this year, normally this conference is being held at in various Hawaiian islands, but this year it will be held on virtual due to COVID. And as an ISSIP, we have been offering workshops, tutorials for some time. We also have been offering traditional academic research sessions, such as smart service systems with Dr. Jim Sporer and Ralph Badinello and myself, and a few others. And then this year is the first time we started to offer a new program called Practitioner Research Insights. So we thought this might be another conference. We can bring practitioners and academic researchers together at a conference setting to talk about some of the new findings versus real business problems. So, again, Yassi or Jim, would you like to say a couple words? Or Ralph, I know you have been involved with this conference.
Really sad that we're not going to be meeting face to face and it's going virtual because it's such a beautiful place. But it is a great ISSIP conference for ISSIP sponsor. The publications there get huge numbers of citations. IBM always has a booth there, so it's a great conference. And thank you, Haluk, for being our navigator into it.
Right, and IBM has been one of the biggest sponsors of the conference. This year, it received about 1,400 papers, and about normally 1,000 people attend. But thank you all. So, so please let us know if you would like to get involved, traditional research or even this practitioner research type of articles, or if you're looking for a venue to present some of your insights. So as an ISSIP, we can help you to facilitate and connect with the right conferences or events.
Okay.
Right. Can we go to next?
Yes, please.
So these are some of the other conferences have ISSIP involved and also planning to involve. So like I said, January 2020, a group of us from ISSIP attended the workshops and led some of these workshops and conference sessions. We also sponsored the ISSIP IBM Cisco UW Best Paper Award program at the Higgs conference. And then in March 20, Citrus Banato Institute Women in Technology conference happened. And then in upcoming conferences wise, we will have virtual Discovery Summit series, next Higgs conference, and then workshops through European Commission will be scheduled for rest of the 2020 and beginning of first 2 quarters of 2021. And these are all the different organizations involved, all these events, including Cisco, IBM, JST, European Commission, San Jose State and Citrus and others.
Thank you. Thank you, Alok. And of course, if you know of other events that are synergistic with ISSIP, we're always open to collaboration. So,
okay.
Thank you, Alok. Alok, you're not done.
Okay. So, so again, as you have seen from ISSIP's vision and mission statements, we really wanted to be able to create a platform for knowledge creation and knowledge dissemination. And this is more part of the knowledge dissemination. Dr. Jim Spurr and I, we have been co-editing a book series called Service Systems and Innovations in Business and Society at Business Expert Press for some time. And then just late 2019, we also started a second book series. Most of these books are written by practitioners and most of the audiences are practitioners. Very short, 50, 60, 70 page long booklets and very fast turnaround time. And so far we have about 41 books published, almost 46 books published and more up forthcoming. And please let us know if you would like to contribute a book. If you would like to write a book, we can help you. We can mentor you if you have never done it in the past. And Jim, would you like to say a couple words on this?
Yeah, thanks, Alok. I think this, I just want to point out that some of the participants in our HSS, Hunter Hastings, he's written 2 books in this series. So a lot of practitioners help us with this. So yeah, if you've never written a book, we can help mentor you to do it.
Right. And then we also have a couple other publications came out. One of them is about this ISSIP NSF report. Yassi led this report as a finding from the findings of the NSF conference. And then also there will be another Service Innovation SIG is also working on a book with the BP series. And please let us know any questions or comments you may have regarding this book series or any other publication outlets if you may need help. Okay.
Thank you so much, Alok and Jim. One thing to add, thanks to Alok and Jim, last year we strengthened our relationship with Business Expert Press with further co-branding. So now authors of Business Expert Press book series, these 2 book series that Alok and Jim co-edit, if they're from ISSIP, we would co-brand, and actually, as you can see as an example, this book has an ISSIP brand on it. So that's we're really excited about that too. Thanks to Alok and Jim. All right, the next one, I'll cover the next few slides, and I'll do it quickly because we want to leave some time for just discussion. So just an update on the Service Design Special Interest Group. The Service Design Special Interest Group has been around since 2014. Dr. Daniela San Giorgi has been one of the leaders. And the SIG went into hiatus for between 2018, 2017, 2019, and then in 2017 and 18 and 2019, Daniela started really getting more engaged with ISSIP, and there is a new Service Design SIG 2.0, which is now being co-chaired by Payal Vaidia and Daniela. And Daniela is a professor at Polytechnic University of Milan. And so the SIG started with a mini-series calls that went really well and was very well received from January to April. And all the calls are recorded at this link. And had very strong participation. Right now, basically after April, with everything that was happening, we put the calls on a pause, and we started really, Payal, Daniela, and myself, really doing some soul searching as to how we could focus the SIG activities to in a pursuit to make ISSIP activities more coherent and synergistic with other activities. So how we could really apply service design to future work initiative, given that we all know that service design is going to play such an important role and is playing such an important role in work and new work. So that's what the team is doing right now. We've already, thanks to Daniela, recruited a very brilliant student volunteer, Alessandra, and I'm covering Alessandra's name. Sorry, I have so many. Cotranio. And Alessandra is just started working with ISSIP to basically the goal is to come up with fundamental design elements that must be considered to create a vision for a sustainable, equitable, and thriving future of work and life. So it's a big goal, but that's where we are starting, and so if you're interested in getting engaged with the SIG, please send me an email and I'll put you in touch with Payal and Daniela. I should have left an email on this slide. The other SIGs, real quickly. So Cognitive Systems Institute group led by Susan Malaika has been in hiatus the first part of the year. It's been one of our really strong special interest groups. There's more than 154 recorded calls, weekly calls, and so and I know Susan is on the call. After if I finish this, Susan, I'll give you a chance to say a couple of words if you like. The SIG is planning to start the calls soon, and maybe Susan can tell us more about that. Education and Research SIG, Haluk has been really busy proposing, in addition to, of course, many of the SIG members driving to conferences. Haluk has been busy proposing an ISSIP digital recognition program, and that's currently under consideration with the ISSIP leadership team. And the initial version of that will be rolling out soon. And we're going to do this in phases. And the first phase would be basically badges going to ISSIP Service Innovation, Excellence in Service Innovation awardees. And, you know, and there will be others. So stay tuned for that. And then Service Innovation Framework has been busy working on a book around people-centered innovation methodology and service innovation blocks, an effort that Dr. Gerhard Guidergen has led in ISSIP. And we're targeting the completion of the book end of 2020. So we talked about several members that have contributed, but there's simply not enough time and really real estate here to mention everyone who's contributing to ISSIP. But these are some of the individuals that I know, at least over the last, you know, in the last half of the year, have been engaged and have been contributing to ISSIP. And we are really grateful to each and every one of you and everyone who puts their energy and effort into advancing service innovation. So thank you very much. And a view of the basically update on individual membership. End of this year, we had 1,457 individuals signed up on the ISSIP WordPress database. Yesterday, were 1,497. There have been, you know, moderate growth. And the important thing really, oh, actually something that you will see a big shift here. You will see independents that were 19% 6 months ago now are showing as students. This is because there was an error in our Excel file. It is in fact students that are 19. And that really, I was very excited when I saw that. Because you know, more and more we're getting students engaged in ISSIP, and I think as a professional association that is contributing to future development of future skills, that is really key to our success. So the other thing is we're really focusing on how to better get this community, this very talented community, better engaged. So, you know, today we talked about some of the efforts. We love your ideas on what we could be doing better, what else we could be doing. So now next, here is a sample of institutions that these individuals represent. This is just a very small fraction. If any of your institutions are interested in becoming a member of ISSIP, please let us know. Of these logos that you see, several of them are institutional members of ISSIP. Others, you know, we have dedicated ISSIP members that represent those, and we're always trying to co-create with them to co-create value so that their institution actually join ISSIP. And last slide, just a snapshot of the ISSIP financials as of yesterday. Oh, no, I'm sorry, as of 7/24/2020. And I won't read through that, just leave it here for a second. Okay, and I'll thanks so much, everyone, and I'll open it up to discussion. And I wanted to leave 20 minutes for discussion. We have 10 minutes for discussion, so.
I know several of the people joined because they'd read the interim report of the European Commission and might have comments. So I'm just curious if anybody has comments on that report that's on the call. Might take you a minute to get off mute. So if not, I did have one idea. You know, Christine and I thought the online meeting was very good, actually, for HSSE. You know, obviously you don't get the networking. Obviously it's not face-to-face. There's a lot that you don't get. But what they did do that was really great is they pre-recorded all the presentation. So when we started a session, actually, you know, and some sessions had like 17 people, like we have on this call. Others, you know, had more like 30. But we took a few minutes, just started the recording for the session, had everybody introduce themselves, you know, briefly, and then we played the all the presentations in the session, which usually took, you know, over an hour, sometimes an hour and a half to play all the sessions. Alka was on as well. She was one of the presenters. But what we could do, because it was recorded, is we had these really robust chats where people were saying, tell me more about this, how was that? People were putting in links. It was it was much more interactive, actually, than a live presentation, because people could have the chat going, and you know, you didn't have to worry about missing anything because it was all pre-recorded anyway. And then we always had plenty of time, you know, at the end for discussion. So anyway, that's something to think about for ISSIP meetings, that we might want to do sessions like that, where even this meeting could be, you know, a 2-hour meeting where we have everybody introduce themselves, play the recording, and then have chat and dialogue as the recording's playing, and then more discussion at the end. So just wanted to put that out there for people to think about, because Christine, it was pretty good, wasn't it? The online wasn't too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were worried it wouldn't work, but it was actually really good, and people enjoyed it very much. I mean, the only effort is you have to record, you know, the presentations in advance, yeah. But it really pays off, you know, and it was quite structured, quite focused, more focused, maybe even we heard from many than the face-to-face meetings.
Yep. Yep.
And people had a chance in the chat to really, you know, ask targeted questions also for the chairs, the session chairs. It was good to have all the questions collected, and then, you know, those that weren't answered you could take up, but those who thought that were relevant you could share with the group. So yeah, it's something to consider. It's just a matter, you know, of probably preparation might be a little bit more.
Yes, you have to pre-record in advance, so there is more prep work up front. Anyway, I don't know what folks think of that.
I really like that idea. That reminds me of flipped classroom. This is flipped conferences. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it started with everybody getting themselves introduced too, which was nice. So everybody, you know, before we started the chat, before we started the recording, everybody kind of knew each other. You know, there were some people who knew each other, some new people, but it was really quite good. Just a thought.
Well, we could certainly try these calls like that.
Yeah, I think on the European Commission report, that was the other thing I was hoping folks might comment on is, you know, if you haven't looked at that report, it's almost like a 200-page book. It's huge. And it has lots of best practices and service science, things about T-shape. It's quite a bit of work that went into it. I have to say Yassi did most of it. I did a little. The Empirica folks did a huge amount. And I think several people who were on the call, one may have dropped off, Jörg from Switzerland. I saw him earlier, but I don't see him now. He contributed heavily to some of the meetings. Oh, no, there's Jörg.
Yeah,
Jörg, did you want to comment on the European Commission report?
Yeah, hello. Hi, do you see me? Can you hear me well?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We do.
Okay, I'm in quite a dark room. I apologize for that because my children are sleeping next to me in our holiday flat. So, yeah, I found it a very, very well and organized day. I enjoyed it. I think we could get acquainted with new ideas, with new people in short time. And of course, I mean, it's a pity that you cannot meet people in the break. So these informal exchanges, as we all know, these online meetings are missing. So I'm looking forward if we can meet one day, maybe in next year in March in Aachen, we can meet physically. But I found it very well organized and very well done. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jörg, did you want to say anything about the European, the interim report with Empirica? Because I know you contributed to some of those meetings. How do you think that work is going?
Sorry, Jim, I didn't get that question.
Maybe you weren't involved in there. I thought there was a European Commission meeting that you were involved in as well.
No,
Jim?
I wasn't involved.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead, Christine.
Sorry, now I started to look at it because I think it's really timely and it's quite impressive. I have just gone through it, in detail, so I couldn't give you any comments. But I was just wondering if you had also heard about this recent report from the Joint Research Center, which was an e-competencies, and it was just recently published. Have you heard about it? It might be interesting to link up also with Clara from the Joint Research Center, but you might be in touch with her anyway.
Yeah, please send a link.
Yeah, we'll do. Oh, Yassi, yeah, because they just published it, and the research center in Sevilla, in Spain, they are dealing with this topic. So, I'm not sure if you had involved them, but it is. I'll get back to you because I haven't had the time to look at it in detail, but quite impressive.
Christine, can you put the link to the report you mentioned in the chat, or you want to send it to us later?
I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, go ahead and look for it. Go ahead and look for it. Yeah, go ahead and look for it, maybe, and put it in, Christine, because this is what was happening during the GoToMeeting. People had time to actually go get the links. And I also noticed that Patrick from Sortison, and Patrick gave some very, very good feedback, because we do emphasize real world experience in that report. And he said, well, what about fictional work? Because that's important too. And Patrick, I know we haven't had follow-up from Empirica on that, but I thought it was quite good, that point you made. And I also noticed Phil Gardner's on. He's got a book in the BEP Press series, so thank you, Phil, for that. Phil and I were actually on a call this morning with Michigan State University as they think about the future of their university, talking about T-shapes. And anyway, it's kind of late, and I know we're at the end of time, but I see several people on the call who maybe haven't had a chance to introduce themselves to the ISSIP community, and I'm wondering if we could just maybe run 5 or 10 minutes over. I know some people will have to drop, but just have everybody on the call introduce themselves might be good, because it's a relatively small group. What do you think of that, Yassi? Do you have time?
I think that's a great idea. I have time, definitely.
Okay, so even if you have to run, please introduce yourself. I'll read people's names off. Let's start with Phil Gardner. Do you want to introduce yourself, Phil? If you can come off mute.
I'm currently the Director Emeritus of the Collegiate Employment Research Institute, but I'm still doing all the research because they don't have anybody doing it right now. So I'm really active right now in this, what's happening in the transition from college to work, and of course the pandemic's affecting that. Right now I'm doing a lot of work with transfers because of the situation with transfer students. You might be interested to know that I work and advise Braven and one of your awardees and earlier, and they are going to contribute a chapter to a book we're writing on transfer student success and professional development. But that's just the things I do, and I really try to push the T. That's where my focus is. We'll have to see how it's going to change a little bit here with the pandemic and the shift in how we're going to learn. And I think it's going to present really good opportunities to develop Ts, but I'll be interested to see how my faculty colleagues actually respond.
Yeah, well, thanks, Phil, for the great book on talent and T-shapes in the BEP series. And next on my list, I see Ed Crowley. Ed, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Jim. My name's Ed Crowley. I'm CEO of Virtualytics, which is a predictive analytics and consulting firm that does quite a bit of work in the services market, particularly in servitization of the imaging industry. And I'm also a assistant professor of entrepreneurship at Southeast Missouri State University. So I wear two hats.
Very, very cool. Yeah. Kaisa, did you want to introduce? Thanks, Ed. Kaisa, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. So good evening from Finland. It's almost 11 o'clock in the evening here. My name is Kaisa Still. I'm the manager of business collaboration at the Oulu University, which is here in Oulu, Finland, and about 13,000 students at the university. So was thrilled to, get a chance to read the report to the commission, because it did talk a lot about the collaboration that needs to happen between companies and universities, and started to wonder how has this COVID-19 impacted what we do, because the interactions are not so easy as they may have been previously. So looking forward to reading more and maybe getting a chance to interact with everybody related to that. One thing that I just thought that might mention, the European Commission is very much emphasizing the digital skills, but also sustainability with its Green Deal and those related activities. And I didn't read anything in the report so far related to carbon or sustainability, those environmental. So maybe that's something that you might want to address there a little bit.
Great, thank you, Kaisa.
Excellent feedback.
Alka, you're next up on my list here. Alka.
Oh, hey, this is great. This is my first ISSIP board call. Thank you for inviting me. It's always so encouraging to see so many people getting together in this time and caring to deal with things that aren't immediately in their horizon and investing in the future. So thank you, Jim, Yasi, Susan, everybody else on this call for your leadership. Jim and Yasi are like my lifeline right now. So I know I've had a chance to talk to them. And I really look forward to getting to know the rest of the folks here. I was with AT&T at the Innovation Center in Palo Alto until December. And I took a hiatus there. I'm going to blame Jim for it. He said, I met him and he said, you should write a book. You should really think about this. And he filled my head with big ideas. But really just a lot of love there. And I've started this project called the Responsible Innovation Project, which is based on this framework that I've been thinking about for, I would say, the last couple of decades. I have experience with conversational AI, speech apps, machine learning, but as well as cloud and 5G and wireless evolution. And with 5G and AI and cloud colliding, I've been thinking about how do we mindfully build our future, where it's a great nod to technology, but also remember sustainability, human impact, and all of that. So I've created a framework, and Yasi and Jim and I have been talking about a discovery summit. I haven't really gotten sort of my act together for all of those. But I am planning a roundtable on responsible AI with a question mark, talking about whether it should be solved technologically or how should we engage in it. So if people here are interested, feel free to reach out to me. And it's going to be an experiment in the format as well. So everything people are talking about, it's going to not be a pull push. It's going to be participatory discussion for 2 hours. So we will try roundtables in that format, and a report will be created from it that would be available to all the participants as to what was kind of synthesized from that meeting based on a methodology that a friend of mine is working on. So the key there is we want to have diversity on that roundtable of thought, as well as representation on a very manageable small group. So once we, you know, depending on how it goes, maybe we can do one with ISSIP as well, Jim. But this one's a much smaller scale, just so that it's manageable, more like an experiment. Yeah.
Thanks, Alka, and fantastic. And yeah, we do hope that book comes out at some point too. Little prod. Antonio, do you want to go next? Antonio, to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Greetings from Italy.
Greetings.
I guess you can hear me, yeah? So this is Antonio Padovano from the University of Calabria. And as a researcher, I'm active in the digital transformation of enterprises towards the Industry 4.0. And thank you all for this very interesting meeting. And it is a pleasure to meet you all. I would like to use a couple of minutes to introduce you to an event I'm glad to share also with ISSIP as a scientific partner, which is the International Conference on Industry 4.0 Smart Manufacturing, an yearly event in which I serve as a program chair, which is focused on the multidisciplinary aspects of the fourth industrial revolution. And I would like to thank Yassi and Jim for their invaluable support over the last year. And this year, the conference will be held in Austria. Obviously, we are monitoring the pandemic's evolution to understand if we need to go virtual or at least hybrid. But the reason why I would like to mention this conference is because I think it can become a platform for collaboration and meeting among all of us and also other people from ISSIP interested in the service innovation in the Industry 4.0 era. So this event is more than a scientific conference for academic people, because the conference is also attended by several companies, and alongside the scientific conference also a brokerage event is organized with dedicated B2B sessions that gives attendees the possibility to set up collaboration opportunities, project proposals, to discuss ideas also with researchers, practitioners, or other company representatives. I would like to invite the ISSIP community not only to participate to the conference or to submit a paper and everything else, but also to take active part in the conference organization. For example, by proposing sessions, by organizing discussion panels, maybe with experts, or even collecting papers on a specific topic of interest. Last year, the conference was attended by 200 people. The papers were published with Elsevier Prosidia Manufacturing, so they are open access and available on Science Direct. And also a Service Innovation Award was sponsored by ISSIP last year and has been given to the best paper in the field of service innovation. So I would like also to invite you all to ask more, also ask Yassi, Jim, or myself about how to get involved in this conference. And I feel that could be very nice opportunities for us to collaborate even more. And obviously we are open to proposals and the ideas. I can put in the chat the conference website for your reference. And thank you all again.
Thank you, Antonio. That's great. And Andre, I see you there.
Actually, before moving to Andre, Antonio, thank you so much. And I'm just sharing my screen for the Best Paper Awards last year of the conference that Antonio mentioned. Sorry, Jim and Andre. Andre, go ahead. Wonderful to have you.
Andre, you're on mute. You got to come off mute to say hello. Maybe you can't. Andre, can you come off mute? I know sometimes Zoom gets stuck for me and I'm trying to get off mute saying, wait, I'm almost off mute. And it doesn't click. There you go.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we do now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jim and Yassi. Thank you very much for having me here. I apologize that I was late joining the meeting. Right now, as a professor emeritus from the University of New Hampshire, I'm in Poland, coming back to the States in 2 months. And I have several comments. One of them is to be retired. If you want to retire and you have an idea that you are going to have a lot of free time, just forget it. I have been very active at different virtual conferences, and I have some experience because of those virtual meetings and what I am missing the most. And I don't know how to solve this issue is, unfortunately, there's this lack of social gatherings and interactions with people, which is terrible. So, for example, one of the conferences I attended virtually, of course, with Ukraine, we organized a follow-up sessions just to talk to each other, introduce each other, and tell everybody who we are and how lucky we are, or what our dreams are, and so on and so forth. So it's a challenge for us to switch from this traditional type of gatherings into those virtual meetings. And I'm hoping that we are going to come up with some kind of a consensus and new ways of communicating.
I think you're giving us some great ideas. Andre. We should just have the coffee time in different time zones, the ISSIP coffee time, and get your coffee and sit down and just have a nice chat.
I miss it. I miss it very much. I miss you guys. Thanks to you, I have become an expert in this eScale project, which is great. I looked at your report, and honestly, I will need more time to digest it because it's very extensive. It's around 230 pages altogether, but it's obviously very interesting. I see this not only as a very good example of collaboration, very useful collaboration between the United States and Europe, which I love both of those of the United States and Europe, of course. So that's music to my ears. And I have 2 comments. I think we have a great opportunity of using this eScale project to promote ISSIP. Just let me mention 2 examples. One of them, right now, Europe is going through the process of introducing a new Marshall Plan, which is unprecedented, which is going to have very, very strong consequences in terms of how people live, how people react, how people function, and so on and so forth. And I think the concept of service science is so powerful and so useful that we have to pay attention to it. Another initiative, which also I think is a good opportunity for ISSIP, is the new RESET project launched by the World Economic Forum. And again, this organization is calling for a very close collaboration, trying to think globally, try to change the way how we live, how we function, how we react, because times are different. So I think the organization like ISSIP is really a great example of what we can do together to benefit everybody, including our nature, okay? So I would be more than happy to discuss with you some of the ideas which we have here in Europe, and hopefully this is going to promote ISSIP and your concept. So thank you very much once again for having me here.
Thank you, Andre. And Ralph, I think you're up next. You haven't introduced yourself. Ralph? Thank you, Andre. We'll follow up on those good ideas.
I've been involved in ISSIP since the very beginning, founding board member, former president, and did a lot of things. So I guess I don't need to add a whole lot. It's good to see so many new people getting involved in ISSIP. That's something we strive for every year. So I'm really, really pleased with all the new faces and new contributions.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think now I look at the list and I think everybody's introduced themselves. Yassi has, Gerhard has, Haluk has, I have. So I think we all got introduced. Anybody want to have a last word or add on to anything? Gerhard, you opened us. You're our president. You want to close us?
Yes. So last words. So Jim, thank you very much for this spontaneous extension of this call, because it's really, I think it's a very good message to everybody of us, really to take the advantage of virtual calls and really take a step out of the agenda to make it successful. And I think that's a good learning for everybody of us. I think we had a great value even after the official agenda. And I think that's a good learning, really, to step out of what we've done, let's say, the last 10 or 20 years. Because we have to do this.
Yeah, I second that.
Transform ourselves. Keep going. Absolutely. That's great. That's a great final word. Thank you all. I've got to run to my next thing.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.